Thank you for joining us here on NTV. Now, over the past decade, Africa's telecommunications sector has grown rapidly. But beyond the headlines, the real question is what has genuinely changed for the customer? In markets that are shaped by affordability, access, and trust, you get to realize innovation isn't about just new technology, but about real impact. Now, as different telecom companies continue to position themselves in the market, we need to understand how are they balancing global trends with local realities, using tools like AI responsibly and addressing the gaps therein. And at this particular time, we get to have a conversation with the MTN CEO, Ms. Sylvia Molenge, to understand how MTN, as a telecommunications player, is trying to navigate through the strides and how they've been balancing the situation over time and how the future looks like. Ms. Sylvia, good to have you on NTV. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sort of from how the past decade has worked. Over the past decade, what has actually changed in the telecom innovation on the ground in Africa, not in theory, but in how people use and experience services?
Initially, it was just providing basic connectivity. It was about the ability for me to be able to call you and have a phone conversation. And then after that, it evolved to us connecting Ugandans to the internet superhighway, where they could be able to get access to data that they could use for their businesses, their personal lives, for learning, for young students. And now we then after that launched mobile money, and mobile money brought a whole new revolution. So for us, the way we look at our technology is not technology for the sake of it. It's technology for the impact that it creates in the lives of people. It's for someone who is as far as Karamoja, who is able to get access to the worldwide economy simply at the tap of their phone. So that impact, you don't have to travel to take money to your mother up country. You can be able to do that simply from your mobile phone. You don't have to walk around with cash in your pocket. You can make payments using the ease of your mobile phone. So that is what we celebrate. We celebrate digitization because it brings convenience. It reduces friction in the lives of our customers. It drives costs down for businesses. And ultimately then we're able to create better experiences for all our customers who we are privileged to serve.
When you look at how the market is moving, can you point to one or two innovations that genuinely changed customer behavior?
If I have to think about two that have really stood out for us in recent years, is all the different types of use cases, if I may call them so, that are allowing our customers to actually evolve from a life where they carry a lot of cash to now operating in near cashless. Think about it. When you wake up in the morning, you actually don't need cash to operate, right? You just need money or e-value that is existing in your wallet on your mobile phone. When you wake up, you want to buy a newspaper, you can do that from the ease of your mobile phone. You drive out and you want to go to fuel your car at a petrol station. We have allowed you to be able to do that. You just simply pay for your mobile phone. You get to work, you want to order for lunch, you want to order for a gift, you can be able to make a payment. You can even come onto our commerce platform, Market by Momo, to be able to order different products and services.
Ms. Sylvia, AI is a big buzzword right now. And from the perspective of MTN, how are you using it in ways that customers would notice or benefit from directly?
So AI, artificial intelligence, it keeps evolving. I was in MWC Barcelona the other day, which is a Mobile World Congress, and the whole theme was around AI. And now we are moving from just calling it artificial intelligence to advanced intelligence, right? Today morning I was listening to somebody who was saying, today our new search engine is no longer Google, it is ChatGPT, right? And what is the power of ChatGPT? It allows you, or AI, if I say that, AI allows you the ability to be able to process millions of data points, right, and arrange it in a format that you would be able to consume. And I think for us, the challenge that we have as MTN is to ask ourselves, how can we drive a lot more productivity of our employees? So, for example, Traditionally, you would go into meetings and there's somebody who's writing the minutes of the meeting, and then they have to type it out, and then they have to circulate. Today, simply by having a conversation that is recorded on Microsoft Teams, Copilot, right, which is an AI that exists within this collaboration tool, takes all the conversation, simplifies it into minutes that then we circulate immediately. So what have you provided? You're providing a lot more efficiency in terms of how your employees are able to deliver productivity. But over and above that, it's also about us asking ourselves, the work that was traditionally very repetitive, that could be automated. How can we leverage agentic AI and deploy these agents to then digitize and automate that work for us and make it so much easier? And then how does that, so that delivers business efficiency for us as a company, but the way it shows up in terms of customers' lives is that they're able to get service that is a lot more customized to them, a lot more personalized to them, and then also that is delivered at a much cheaper cost in terms of efficiency. So for us, the challenge that we have right now, it's how do we adapt AI to ensuring that we are delivering an overall an enhanced experience for our customers, but also over and above that is that we are also reducing the cost to serve. Because when we do that, that benefit passes on to our customers in terms of lower data tariffs, lower cost of access, which overall then drives the overall digital and financial inclusion agenda.
Looking ahead, what's one area you think telecom companies in Africa, including MTN, are still falling short or missing an opportunity?
We find ourselves in a place where we are rapidly advancing in technology, right? So when I was at MWC, people were already speaking about 6G. We haven't even monetized 5G per se. So technology is moving rapidly. But the real risk that poses is that if we don't carry our customers, our citizens along with us, you end up finding that the ones who can afford it are moving at a faster pace than the ones who cannot be able to get access. So coverage, for example, does not necessarily mean that it does not equal access. So the fact that, let's say, for example, in this place where we have covered it with 5G coverage or even 4G coverage, doesn't mean you have access. Why? Because you must have the tools that allow you to be able to access all these super fast technologies that we're accessing, that we are providing. And therefore, the biggest challenge we have today is a challenge of access, where we are seeing the usage gap is not decreasing at the rate our coverage gap is decreasing. So coverage is here, usage is here. What is this gap that we have? Things like, for example, as basic as smartphones. Cost of smartphones is going through the roof. And right now with chipsets, what's happening globally, the demand on chipsets has skyrocketed simply because of the fact that these same chipsets are also what is powering the AI services that we're getting. And therefore, inevitably, the cost of smartphones is increasing day by day. And, we've been having conversations with different policymakers in government and saying there is a role that we as MTN can play, right, in terms of for example, the Kabode Olympia device that we launched the other day. We allow you to get access to a smartphone device, but instead of giving us the full amount, you pay progressively for it, right? You can pay as low as $1 a day, right? Or even less than $1. So there's that work we've done, but that doesn't impact the price point. So can government look at how do we drive digitization? We are being pushed as operators to make sure that we drive investment. The regulator and the Ministry of ICT has challenged us to make sure that we provide geographical coverage across the country, so that even if you're on Lake Victoria, you're on Kalangala Island, you can be able to get good quality access. So we are doing that, but it costs us money. Now, we have to make sure that as we drive that investment, we are also addressing the issues that are locking out our people from enjoying that access. So we have asked the government, consider penetration of devices in this market is, I think, about 40%. West Africa is in 60-70%. Our neighbor Kenya, right, is in the 60-70%. So what is the difference? The taxation regime. We have to agree, even if not for all devices, for entry-level devices, for people who are currently using your Kabiriti phone, we want them to get access to a smartphone because that unlocks learning for them, it unlocks digital progress for them, it unlocks access to mobile money platforms, it makes them a more active participant in the digital economy that the government is focusing on. So we are asking, can we get some taxation relief, not for our benefit, but for the benefit of the end user? There is also a lot of work that needs to be done from a digital literacy. We are doing our work. We have the MTN Internet Boss that goes across the country. There's a lot of work that we've done through the foundation, MTN Foundation, to make sure that we're investing in literacy, digital literacy, but the gap is still there. And therefore, we need a lot more ecosystem partners to actually come in, and then we all jointly push towards ensuring that we drive literacy for all. So for me, the area where I feel we can do a lot more as MTN, but in working hand in hand with other partners, be they the innovators who create content, be it the government, in terms of setting up the right policies, easing taxation, the regulator is around creating a lot more access. Whether that access is understood as better price points, cheaper smartphones, or end devices for users. I think if we don't do that, then technology ends up existing for the sake of it and not for the purposes of driving transformation.
Thank you very much for your time, Ms. Sylvia Malinge, for giving us the opportunity to have this particular conversation, and we wish you all the best for the year 2026, and thank you indeed for having us.
Thank you very much.
And there you have it, to you, our dear viewer, for following this particular conversation on issues, technology, and how it is evolving within the sector of the telecom industry. And of course, we shall be giving you more of these particular conversations and discussions to understand how technology is shaping various sectors across the country. I'm Joram Paul Sonko. Keep it NTV.